Welcome back, hustlers. Imagine walking into work tomorrow and receiving a termination email. No warning, no human conversation, no chance to defend yourself. Just one line. Your employment is terminated, effective immediately. Why? Because an algorithm said so. It sounds like sci-fi, but it's real. Today we dive into how companies are letting AI decide who stays and who goes, and why it's worse than you think. Stay tuned, because by the end, I'll show you how to protect yourself, ask the right questions, and not be the next person fired by a bot. What is AI termination? Definition. Broadly, AI termination means companies use automated decision systems, algorithms, AI tools to evaluate employees, attendance, productivity, communications, digital footprints, and then act on that. Warnings, demotions, sometimes outright firing, without full human oversight. How it is being used? These systems gather large data sets, work logs, communication metadata, productivity stats, even sentiment in chat, Slack, Teams, and apply rules, AI models, to flag low performers, unengaged or risky employees. A study shows some firms have allowed AI to replace human resource managers in legally effective decisions, such as recruitment and dismissal. Another example, an article describes algorithm management, where invisible systems monitor workers and even automatically send termination notices. Real-world data. For example, a recent report found about 1 in 4 European workplaces are using algorithms or AI to make decisions that impact employees' working life, including performance monitoring, in the EU. What is the typical workflow? Data collection, software logs, attendance, chat records. 2. Feature construction. How often you log in late, how many after-hours emails, how many tasks completed. Scoring, ranking model, you fall into bottom X percentile. Decision, action, automated warning, shift reduction, termination. What once was manager discretion is increasingly handed over to software. Real-world signs and stories. Story 1, the case of social networking giant and their contract employees. In 2022, the social networking giant reportedly used an algorithm to randomly select 60 contract workers for termination without human explanation. Story 2. A Russian company providing software, interactive services, fired 150 of its 450 employees based on a performance algorithm that flagged them as unengaged and unproductive. Story 3. Internal monitoring in major online sellers' warehouses, where productivity indices were monitored by software and low scores meant automatic termination. From the signs to watch for point of view, or you get performance warnings or flags without human manager discussion. You notice your digital footprint, emails, chat, meeting attendance being measured. You see rapid terminations where appeals are weak or non-existent. Opaque criteria, you're scored, but you don't know the model or threshold. These people aren't being fired because of one bad day. Often because data over time flipped their status in an algorithmic ranking system. Why it's controversial? Transparency issue. Employees often don't know the criteria, the weighting, or the thresholds the algorithm uses. Bias in data. If your role is less visible, fewer chat messages, fewer meetings, more independent work, you might have fewer data points and be flagged unfairly. Example from research. A Swedish study found employers frequently don't even recognize when they are using AI or automated decision-making, and that indirect systems pose risk of bias. No appeal process. When decisions are fully automated, human reviews weak or absent. Employees may not have chance to challenge the decision. The human in the loop versus agent distinction. When AI is the advisor versus when AI is the decision maker. Research shows when AI is the final authority, outcomes may be dehumanizing. The imbalance of power. Data collection and algorithmic scoring favors the employer. The employee often lacks visibility or record. Example: the article Uncovering the Dark Side of AI-based decision-making discusses how a Norwegian energy trading firm experienced negative effects when employees were subject to algorithmic evaluation without transparency. Consequence? Trust evaporates, morale drops, people feel constantly surveilled, not judged by a manager, but by a cold algorithm. The ethical, legal, and human cost. Ethical cost. The human dignity of being reduced to a data point or ranking number. Demotivation, fear of being watched. Internalized surveillance. Legal cost. In the US Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, EEOC, and US Department of Justice have warned about AI tools in hiring, promotion, termination that may discriminate. Human cost case. When a worker sees they were flagged by the algorithm for low engagement, though in reality, their role didn't require many meetings, the mismatch leads to unfair termination. Business cost. Over-reliance on AI may backfire. Example: a Swedish firm fired 700 employees with AI and then admitted mistake and plans to rehire humans. Trust and culture. Employees who feel they might be replaced by an invisible machine start disengaging. Internal culture suffers. Litigation risk. If algorithms replicate historical bias, age, gender, race, companies are open to lawsuits. Example: the Swedish study highlights indirect bias risk. Loss of human judgment. Systems may miss context. Example: an employee working quietly but effectively. Algorithm flags them for low visible chat. The ripple effect. Families, livelihoods, mental health undermined when people get terminated without reason or explanation. What you should ask your boss or future employer? Practical advice for employees and job seekers. Are you using any automated scoring or decision-making tools for performance, discipline, or termination? What exactly are the criteria or metrics used? Can you show how they are applied? Is there a human review step after any automated flag or decision? How are appeals handled? Can I challenge a decision made by an algorithm? Charge. What data are you collecting about my work? Emails, chat logs, meeting attendance, keystrokes. And how is it weighted? Even if you can't stop algorithm use, you can ask these questions to protect yourself and prompt employer transparency. Bonus tip: keep your own digital record of your work, deliverables, results, emails showing impact. If you are ever flagged, you will have a human narrative to complement raw metrics. The future of work is already here. And if you thought automation was just about robots doing tasks, think again. Algorithms are increasingly deciding whether you keep your job. Don't wait to find out you were the number in the red zone of a hidden model. Ask the right questions today, protect your narrative, and stay aware. If you found this video useful, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next deep dive on AI in the workplace. Also, comment below. Have you ever felt the system watched you more than your boss did? Share your story. We'd love to hear it and build the community. Until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant, and keep hustling smarter.